Federal government is under increasing pressure to share more information with the public about possible suspicious drone activity over New Jersey and parts of the East Coast. Videos of what appear to be unidentified aircraft began going viral last month. The House Intelligence Committee had a classified briefing about this all today. This is what Ranking Member Congressman Jim Hines told Jake Tapper just after.
And I asked probably in 12 different ways, is any of this federal government operations? You know, there's a lot of rumor out there that this is radiation sniffing or chemical sniffing. This is not a federal government operation. We're very, very confident of that. Most of them turn out to be regular aircraft. Yes, some drones, recreational, commercial. People are seeing stars. You know, that there's again no indication that there's any illegal activity or any particular danger or malign activity.
All right, I'm joined now by New Jersey Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill. The Congresswoman is a former Navy helicopter commander and out with her own 5-part plan of action to improve communication with the public about drone activity. Congresswoman, you heard your tri-state colleague, Congressman Hines, say not nefarious, not a government operation. Do you share his confidence on those 2 points?
So I spoke to Hines after his briefing. I also had a briefing from the White House today. And I think what we know today is that this was going on for really a month until it seemed as if we started to get some responses. There still doesn't appear to be the coordination I would like to see between all of the government agencies. Even at the White House briefing, you know, myself and Pat Ryan, 2 military veterans, were just sort of asking questions, and I don't think either one of us felt like even the White House briefer had the information that we had from being on the ground and speaking to our military bases. But it does appear as if sensitive equipment is finally on the ground after, as I said, almost a month to get it there. We are better tracking the drones. The information that the FBI has received, they are now tracking carefully all of the reports and tracking those reports. They have not identified any threats at this time. But again, we have still quite a bit of work to do as we are behind the power curve here. So that's what we know at this point. And I think we can feel very good about that to date. But I think what we don't feel good about, what I don't feel good about, is a sense that this took too long, that communication still, and I'm still hearing this on the ground from law enforcement, communications are still not flowing appropriately to everyone who needs to understand where the investigations are leading and then get information to the public about what is being found. And then we need a plan going forward. We really need to have a better operation going forward. What we've seen here at this time is we have like 1980s era policies to combat a current threat, and that's not acceptable.
Well, but there is a difference, you agree, between bad communications and then bad stuff in the sky, correct? And you're more confident it's bad communications right now than there's bad stuff in the sky.
Well, I think I feel better about that right now. I feel like we are moving towards that at this time. I'm still, though, not convinced that because it's not just bad communications with people on the ground. It's not just bad communications with the people of New Jersey. I worry that our government organizations are not communicating well with each other, which is why going forward, we need a better plan of how we are going to address this, who is going to be in charge, which agency, who is going to lead the other agencies, and then how are they going to get the equipment we need very nimbly, very quickly on the ground so that the FBI can track this. And at this point, I do feel better about that. I feel like we have the equipment on the ground. We are tracking it. We are not finding the threats that people are worried about. Yet, I still feel as if we still have to have more information. I would like more confidence in what is being communicated to me is all of the information that the agencies have, that they are collating it all together, and an understanding of if anything remains outstanding that we're concerned about.
And this is all part of the plan that you proposed, yes?
Exactly. That is correct. This going forward has to work better. It can't take a month for people to get the equipment on the ground we need. It can't take a month for people in government to start accepting that people are seeing things in the air and responding to just that.
You've seen a lot of stuff in the air. It was part of your job for a long time. So when you look up, are you willing to accept what John Kirby has told us, what others have told us, that a lot of what people are seeing are planes and helicopters? Not all, but a lot of what people are seeing.
Sure. I think that's true. I think most people in New Jersey think that's true. A lot of what is being seen, we have a very heavily trafficked state. We have major international airports. We have smaller airports. We have helicopters going overhead. Look, I think we are all willing to accept that the majority of air traffic over the skies in New Jersey at night are actual commercial air, is actually commercial air traffic. And then I also think that we know there are a lot of hobby drones. My kids have received drones for Christmas a couple of years ago, but we want to know those larger scale drones. Is there any evidence of that? Is it simply law enforcement now patrolling the skies, which they are doing with their own equipment? Or is there something else out there? And I think at this point, with the equipment that we now finally have on the ground in New Jersey, we are starting to track what's going on in the sky, and we are not seeing any threats. We are not seeing any signs of any threats. I feel very good about where we are headed. I still want to see better communication and be assured that all of the government agencies have come together, have responded to this, and understand what's going on and understand what's been happening in our skies over the past month.
And I assume you were not pointing the finger at your own kids here, even though they, like so many others now, have drones that they're flying at all hours.
They have been grounded. Right now, as we are going through this and trying to determine this, my kids' drones have been grounded.
Congressman Mikey Sherrill, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much for being with us tonight.
So
we sent CNN aviation correspondent Pete Muntean to do his own investigation into what's happening in the skies over New Jersey. Pete is a pilot with extensive expertise in identifying aircraft. This is what he found.
We are on the lookout for drones. With drones, where fears first took off, New Jersey. Ocean County Sheriff Sergeant Kevin Fennessy is one of about a dozen drone officers responding to calls and now tracking flights from inside this major crimes command center, now turned into a drone war room.
It's wild the amount of air traffic over New Jersey, and especially over Ocean County.
The sergeant says, sure, many of the calls the department gets are actually airplanes, helicopters, medevacs, planets, even stars. But they have seen things they just cannot explain. A sheriff's lookout drone tethered to the ground captured this video.
We had something coming at us, and as it's coming at us, it stops, it does like a 180 in the air and then drives away, and then comes back and does like a giant U around us. So that's not normal for aircraft.
So this is really happening?
We think so. It's definitely something that whatever we're seeing, we can't figure out what it is.
The federal government reiterated Tuesday that the vast majority of purported drone sightings are in fact airplanes or drones flying legally with no threat to public safety. But don't say that to the folks on the not shy to tell me about what they have seen.
I think it's drones. Too many people have seen them to it not be real.
I haven't seen it. I do think it's legitimate, but I don't believe that nobody knows where they're coming from.
I haven't seen any legitimate drone sightings in this current flap around New Jersey.
Science writer and conspiracy expert Mick West investigates possible drone sightings and says that you can too.
If you get the details, the date, the time, and the location, you can actually look up what was in the sky at that point and look at what direction they were looking in, and you can see that it was actually just a plane.
We're on the boardwalk, the sun is set, and the sky has really come alive. You can see almost why folks are reporting so many drone sightings. Off in the distance over the Atlantic Ocean there, I can see several planes. I'm corroborating here with the same app that they use over in the command center. This is called ADS-B Exchange, showing within about a 20-mile view planes broadcasting their position live. There's an Atlas Air cargo flight that just left not too far away from here, going out flight that's coming in over the Atlantic, turning north to go into JFK, and then another really bright light above those two. That is Jupiter. But it's the things that cannot be explained so easily that have folks here really concerned. Deputies like Kevin Fennessy hope the truth is still out there.
We're not drone hunters. We're just trying to see if we can figure out what's going on, where they're coming from, and try to put this to bed.
The Pentagon is deploying drone systems to 2 military bases here in New Jersey. Naval Weapons Station Earl is the closest, only about 25 miles away from where I'm standing. The goal is to detect and identify drones, not shoot them down. The idea is to jam the signal between the controller and the drone itself in hopes that the drone will essentially land on its own. John?
Piedmontine, that was one of the coolest stand-up show and tells I've ever seen. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.